ASOS I have taken Alma Linux. I'm giving instruction, run instruction specified for user. It is executing user add command. This is the Linux command, user management Linux command, this one. So I'm adding user nginx one. So this nginx user, I want to set as a specific user by using user instruction for running container. So this is the redirect operator, less greater than. So echo this syntax, this text will place it to the hello.txt file. This is the creating by using redirect operator, creating file by using run instruction. So now build the image. Docker build -t user v1 dot. So image is successfully created. So by using this image, you can create container. So Docker run -name a1 -it user tag. So container created. See here, this is not a root user. When enter docker exec and -it container name bash. So immediately any container goes to root path. So once root path, anyone access, any unauthorized person access, entire application will unsecure and very dangerous. So they will do any misleading activities, illegal activities on the application. So our application is going to down. So we have to change root user to some other user. So in that case, this instruction is very useful. Remember this. This is the best practice for creating Docker images. So while building image process, so some instructions need root user. So we don't want to provide root instruction on top. So after installation, what are the things required? So you need to provide user instruction end of the file. That is the good practice for creating Docker images. So check temp directory file is created or not. cd / tmp ls hello.txt. Check cat hello. Some text is there. As the Nginx user, only access this text. Other user don't have permissions to access these files. So this kind of permissions, you need to set the image level automatically when container running. So that user is going to be a specific user for running containers. So that is about user instruction in Docker file. So you should follow as it is what I'm doing here. See, I'm entering A. You also do. You also write A, B, C. What I'm doing, you need to do same things. So copy paste, then only things will work. So after completion of my task, we need to do more R&D on some other sources. That is a best practice, and get the good knowledge also. So come out of the container without exit. Control P, Control Q. Delete this container. Docker rm -f a1. Container deleted. Go back to parent directory. See, this is the double dot means currently, previously I'm at user directory. So if you want to change this directory, user directory to Docker files directory, Docker directory is the parent directory for user directory. So that's why cd space dot dot slash. Dot dot means it is going to parent directory. If single dot means same directory, current directory. So remember this Linux command. So again, next working on workdir. cd file. See here, base base image as a Alma Linux version 8. So here I define workdir instruction. I mentioned here temp is a tmp is the work directory. So run touch. So every after creating temp directory, after running any instruction, executing where tmp folder present. So all commands after creating work directory, after that every instruction is going to executed in that directory. Remember this point. Create Docker image for this. Build -t EIR. The tag as well. So create container out of it. Docker run -name -a1 -it workday work dir colon v1. Currently we are in temp directly. It is switched to workday directory. So I have mentioned workday instruction tmp. That's why it is directly switched to temp directory. On this temp directory, every instruction after providing each and every instruction going to be executed in this directory. That is about workday. If you mention app means, so automatically this will replace app. So you can mention any name. So that is nothing but work directory. So it is providing for consistency folder for our application. This is about workday. Next instruction, on build. First remove this one. Docker rm -f a1. So deleted. Go back to parent directory. List out the directories. Switch it to on build. So list out. Here is the Docker file available and VIM Docker file. So here I have taken base image as a Alma Linux. So next I'm updating Alma Linux by using M package. Next I'm installing Nginx. Next removing default folder index.html. On build. See this. It's on build. Add index.html from some other location. So create this is, this is the definition of entry point default and default command for Nginx. Nginx -g daemon off. So create image docker build -t on build. Dot paste on window. So it is going to installing Nginx. So replacing index.html, removing index.html after that. So it depends on, so this image referenced as a on build user. So go and check on build. ed .. user. List out. So this is the index.html. This is copied. This on build add instruction copied to the Nginx default path. Already you know Nginx default path. So check out cat docker file. This is the on build :v1. This is a reference image. So this image as a base image. It is taking as a base, considered as a base image. So just create on build user image. Docker build -t user. So it is created. So create image, create container from this image. Okay. From hyphen name one hyphen IT hyphen IT on build hyphen user colon V1. So it is running on detached mode. I think hyphen D not providing, right? And also not providing any port number for this. So terminate A2 hyphen D hyphen IT hyphen P 80 colon 80 container created docker PS. So container is up and running. So provide here host IP colon 80. So hello Ram. So my our content is going to be displayed. So on build is a reference for on build user. So you can use like this also. Next instructions was already here covered user worked here and on build user. And one more last instruction is stress. So you need to understand what is stress. So this is the stress instruction. The command you provided is using stress hyphen ng. So to stress the system by simulating various types of loads on CPU, IO operations, and memory. So, so these are the parameters for stress instruction. So hyphen CPU. You can take CPU one or number of that doesn't matter. So you can mention, I have mentioned here one. That's why. So stress one CPU with one bound task. So here IO, four stress four IO operations. So hyphen VM1 and hyphen bytes 128. So stress one virtual memory operation with a 128 MB allocation. For 1 VM, I have allocated 128 MB. So this is the syntax. Next, hyphen four stress fork operations. So hyphen timeout 10 seconds. I have given 10 seconds to execute all these commands. So run the stress for a maximum number of seconds is 10. So this command will create a moderate load on the system for testing purposes only. It's useful for diagnosing system performance under heavy load. So we have to test our containers like this. After creating containers, we need to apply load by using this stress hyphen ng. Thi- This is a instruction. So under heavy workload conditions or testing system stability, if you are running this command on production system, be cautious as it may impact the overall system performance. So don't do this kind of activities in production. Clearly saying this information. So now working on tasks. CD parent directory. So here Docker files directory. I have stress folder. So provide trust directory. Now I switch it to trust directory. So here check VIM Docker file. This is the stress. I have taken base image as a Alma Linux. I'm updating and I'm installing stress hyphen ng. This is the software we need to install if we want to apply any stress for containers. So how we can check? So these are the arguments. You need to separate each and every argument separately, divided by comma, separated by comma. So here use only hyphen help. In the stress instruction, how many keywords are there? It is showing help. So after creating image container, so it will give stress hyphen ng all use cases or all instructions by using hyphen help command. So here test hyphen ng is a command. This is the executable for CMD for this container. So here argument is the hyphen help. So after creating container, so what will get, we will see. Docker build hyphen t, Docker build hyphen t stress v1 dot. So successfully image created. Create one container out of it. Docker run hyphen name. So here stress S1. Next hyphen IT stress colon v1. This is the image name. Create container. So container created, and it will give you information about stress command, what are the instructions are going to use for your requirements. These are all instructions for testing system performance and other metrics and all, CPU, memory, IO operations. If you want to work any kind of activities, use these all commands based on your requirements. That is about first. So all are related instructions. Each instructions have specific use case you need to understand while working on this kind of activities. This is about Dockerfile. So already I have completed 3 sessions on Dockerfile. You need to practice hands-on, and I will give you more links about other Docker Dockerfile creations and best image creation practices and all. So you need to practice hands-on. This is very important in DevOps role, Docker image creation. Remember this point. So here mostly questions, what are the questions we'll get from interviewer? So add copy differences and entry point and CMD differences and what is work layer and run instruction and base OS, base image from instruction and user command expose. So sufficient. These are the sufficient. If you know more than I have covered 15 plus. So you need to understand each and every instruction on the Docker file. So you need to do more R&D on these instructions only. Don't depend on any more. These are sufficient for creating Docker images.